Hey y'all, and welcome to episode 004.5. And the reason I say 0.5 is because last video I talked about the computer specs and components you should be looking out for whenever you shop for a computer that's capable of video editing just fine. I didn't want to bog that video down with like walking through what every little component does, so I figured I'd make a side episode for those who care. So if you do care, welcome. This channel is centered around video marketing, but I mean, I can talk about more tech stuff if y'all like. Leave a comment below, let me know. I don't mind pivoting. I'm only 4 episodes in, so the channel can go either way. In this video, I'll be using analogies to kind of talk about what each of these components do, so you have a better understanding of what you're buying, and having that understanding just helps you know what to look for that much more. And if you hear a few rumbles, that's because I am shooting this as it is storming outside. Let's get it.
I wake up, flex on down that check. No drip this, tell 'em run it on. No sleep, no rest. Might crash, might wreck, but first I stretch. Tell 'em run it on.
Shout out to NBHD Nick for that track that I found on Epidemic Sound. Nick, if you're out there, hit me up. I love to get together on something. That's been one of the more dope songs I found on Epidemic Sound. And I'm trying something different for this one. I'm using green screen. Woo! I don't think I've ever formally introduced myself in any of my videos. So I am CM Williams, video content creator and video marketing professional. I don't like to call myself an expert quite yet, but as I learn, you will learn, and we'll get to that expert level. And last thing I promise before we get into it, please be sure to like, turn your notifications on, subscribe, and share this information with anyone you think might benefit from it as well. So the first component we went over in episode 4 was your CPU. Think of your CPU as a small business owner. Typically a small business owner is running the accounting. They're doing the docs, they're making the invoices, they're sending all the emails. Well, your computer's CPU also controls all the little things your computer does. It controls the volume, the brightness, your Word docs, everything. It can even handle, to a degree, some video editing. But we also talked about your CPU's cores, and how I said there should be a 4-core minimum with your processor. Oh man. So think of those cores as your assistants or employees who can also run the accounting software, can also send invoices, can also be pretty proficient at your day-to-day task. And the more of those people you have, the quicker every task gets done. So your CPU is you, and the cores within your CPU are your assistants or your employees. The more people you have to allocate different tasks to, the more efficient things are, the quicker things get done. The more cores in your CPU, the more your CPU is able to allocate different tasks that you're doing on your computer, therefore giving you a quicker, smoother, faster computer. Those are all pretty much synonyms, but you get the idea. Now, with GPU, let's just say you're a small business owner, and yeah, you do tackle video projects that are more basic from time to time, but now it's time for you to make that complicated, hey, I might need to go get a production company or a professional videographer video done. So I mentioned that the CPU can also perform some video tasks, but where your GPU comes in is where those tasks are a little more rigorous and demanding. So think of your GPU as the professional videographer that your CPU hired to take care of the more complicated video stuff. So the GPU in your computer allocates all of its resources only to graphics, video, and if you're a gamer, gaming. That's it. That's where all the power goes. So the better or stronger your GPU, the better it can handle very demanding graphics, very demanding gaming. So when you start throwing effects over your videos, your computer doesn't get sluggish on you. So yeah, with all that complicated graphics and video work off your CPU's hand, your CPU can focus on the other task it has to run. Just like you as a small business owner, you've handed your video over to someone like me who can handle that just fine, and now you, the small business owner, has the time and energy to go off and run your business. So yeah, without that GPU, your CPU is gonna be hindered greatly by trying to run your video editing software and trying to run the rest of the computer. I need my black tea, it's been a busy week. So for your RAM, imagine RAM as a literal, tangible workbench, like a table. The bigger your table is, the bigger project you can fit on it. If you try to do too big a project on a small table, now you have things falling off, you're getting disorganized, and it's slowing you down. Similar to your computer, If you have too much going on at once, too much software running, or too much going even within a single software, you'll see that reflect in your computer's performance without a proficient amount of RAM. Think of like having 2 or 4 gigs of RAM as like trying to do like a big Lego project on an end table in your living room. Whenever you have 8 gigs of RAM, that's like you having a coffee table. You can fit a lot more on that coffee table, you can organize. And in that last video, I talked about how 16 gigs of RAM is recommended, even though 8 is your minimum. So if you have 16 gigs of RAM, you have a pretty decent sized workbench. So in short, little bit of RAM, tiny cluttered table where things fall off. Big RAM, big table where you can fit everything, organize everything, see what you're doing, and be proficient. And lastly, there is storage. So I talked about in the last video about how you should really work on the external and not put too much on your computer's local storage. So the best way I can put this is think about you have a decent sized office space and you are working on a few projects. So those projects are laying around your office space. Let's just say that your office space is that 256 gigs of storage, and that's all you can fit in there. Now, in the last video, I talked about how when you get close to filling up that storage, how it gets harder for your computer to work. Think about the same thing in your office. When shit gets everywhere, it gets harder and harder to work. You can't even think right, and you start slowing down. So again, I recommend you keep a few things on your local storage, but put the rest on external. So your external hard drive is the storage space you have rented down the street where you can put all that extra stuff so it doesn't clutter up your office. You keep what you need in your office in your local storage and put whatever else, or put your backup information in your rented storage space or your external hard drive, thus preventing clutter in your office, keeping it nice, fresh, and open for you to work more efficiently. All these components work as a team to keep stress off boss man, which is the CPU. If there's stress off boss man can do things the way it should be done. Keep boss man happy and the business runs smoothly. At least you would hope. But for the sake of our analogy, the other components keep boss man happy and the computer runs smoothly. And that's it for episode 4.5. If you have any questions, if I missed something or I went too fast on something, drop a comment, ask questions, I'll get to it, I'll answer you. But I do hope this little lesson helps you understand better about how to shop for a good computer and to know why you're shopping for those parts. If you like this video, like, subscribe, share, as always. Until next time.